Okay, it's time for a quick unboxing or unwrapping. It's no real box. Okay, so I just ordered something from StrapCode. Just wanted to share. It's nothing really that groundbreaking, but I got another Endmill bracelet. 22 millimeters for my tuna, the SBBN043, the blue tuna. And I also got a couple accessories while I was at it. Since I was buying from them, I didn't want to pay extra for shipping. And I think I recommend these for myself. I've been wanting to get something like this for a while. As far as I know, StrapCode was the only ones that, when you buy their bracelets, they come with these, they call it spring bar protectors, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's just a great little device because I get, I do a lot of strap changes and I get a lot of watches on bracelets, and I sometimes when I buy bracelets too from StrapCode. And what gets annoying is that when you take this off to put on another strap, this is sitting in my watch box, usually something portable. But anyways, when I get it, it can move around, and the spring bars can just easy to slide in and out of and fall out of. And so I always have to, unless it's StrapCode, which comes with these cool keepers, I would say they're more than protectors. They just go right over and fit pretty perfectly over it. Um, Even as careful as you are, it's just a slight shift around. You can easily see, knock out the spring bars, and they'll be rolling around in the small case that I keep some of these straps separated into, and bracelets, and yeah, and then especially if they are like a fitted end link that has the spring bar that are dependent on it to stay attached to the rest of the bracelet. This is not the case here, but there are some that are like that. Imagine like an end link piece, and it's a separate, and then the spring bar is the main thing that will hold the two together. As soon as that slides out, then that end piece will kind of slide around in the case or box. You guys may not have that issue much. Maybe you don't hold it the same way, but I do. And I think in general, even if I'm just handling it, I'd rather just have something like this, put it back on, secure it, and it's not going anywhere. So I do appreciate that StrapCode includes this with their bracelets. And we'll just go into this real quickly since I got it out. This is for my tuna, 22 millimeters. Though I find it weird that they used to, or maybe they still do, but they offer a 21.5, which they say is specific to a particular generation of tunas and newer. But everywhere else, basically the measurement of the space in between the lugs on the tunas are 22. So I don't know why you have to go with the specific 21.5. And they're sold out. I don't know if they'll put them back in, but I didn't want to wait. And I'm pretty sure in 22s, the half a millimeter difference is not gonna. It has to fit. It has to. It just has to. But yeah, these are great quality bracelets. Screw links, solid end links. If you have an end link piece, this is a straight one. This is a straight edge because my tuna doesn't really have lugs per se. They're kind of hidden, so you don't need a fitted end link, which I would normally prefer for a lot of watches. It just looks cleaner and looks better to me. I don't like straight end links into watches that, it just creates a gap that's kind of awkward. I think it's a little bit unsightly. Though some people think it's kind of an old school look, and I can see that, but I don't like that. So anyways, I go with straight end links. Solid end links fitted, unless it's something like the tuna or even my Captain Willard. The way it's notched out, it's not that much of a. You don't necessarily have to have a fitted piece. In some ways, it might actually work better without that, and a straight end link will work good on that too. So I have two of these now. I have this one now, and I have a smaller one in 20 millimeter, which is for my other watches. I had the smaller baby or mini tuna, which I was using that on, but I sold that, and now that other Endmill bracelet, which is basically like a presidential style, which I like. It's got this kind of meaty, kind of bulky, massy, and it's got these curvatures. It looks appropriate for a tuna, in my opinion. But anyways, what was I saying? Well, anyways, yeah, so I have 2 of these. So that one will go on my Willard. That's 20 millimeter whenever I feel like putting it on a bracelet. And this one will go on the Tuna, because I definitely believe that will be a keeper. Finally, I really like that Tuna and the color and everything about it, and it deserves to have a bracelet option. And I did, you know, between the StrapCode, there's the other kind of bracelet that's shorter and it looks more. Well, this looks like some micro brands, but it's a shorter one, and it costs like a little bit less. But I wanted to do this one because I like it. It's got this. It looks longer. It's got a little bit more mass, and I like how it's got a more straight kind of chamfer along the edges. Whereas the other one looks slightly smooth and rounded a little bit. But being that this is going to go in a Tuna, I figured that the more substantial looking, slightly longer clasp part of it would be better suited to kind of balance out that Tuna, because it's full size Tuna, 47, almost 48 millimeters or so case size. So having a more substantial bracelet or clasp underneath it just seemed like it would make more sense than something that's a bit more dinky or smaller. I also had considered the Seiko factory one for the Marine Master, or they say it's also for the Tuna, which is basically a Marine Master. At least it used to be marked as that prior. And, it's basically a pretty typical Seiko bracelet for that style, the Marine Master. So it's sort of oyster link, but it has that extra kind of detail running between the outer links and the middle one. You'll know what I mean. It has like this thin kind of other detail going down the middle here. And it has that ratcheting clasp system. So it's not like this, but you have the fold over part of the Seiko. And as you pull it out enough, then it'll ratchet this part. You can take that out and extend it, which is pretty cool. But again, it exposes the mechanism, unlike this one where it's all internal on this Christopher Ward. So as soon as you extend it out, everything's still hidden. But on that other one, or rather the Seiko one, it'll be exposed. And I don't know. I don't like the way that looks. Usually I size my bracelets pretty good where I don't really need much, even slight micro adjustments. I'll find a good sweet spot for it. So I didn't need that. I didn't need to spend. Those Seiko bracelets are not cheap. They're like over $200, like $230, $250, somewhere around there. Yeah, so I didn't need that. It doesn't have screw, links. Although, just friction or pin and collar, I can deal with. They can work just as well. But I do find having screws to be a bit more of a more premium look and feel and featured than just tapping out some sort of pin. And additionally, the links on that Seiko bracelet are longer. They look kind of on the long side. So just looking at that and trying to think about trying to size it and get it to be the right fit, being that they are longer links, it looks slightly more problematic. And they're probably, again, this sort of an oyster style, so there's basically more or less like a 3-link looking thing. But I suspect they are not separate pieces. Or it's probably those 3 links are probably just kind of joined, and there's no articulation within those. Unlike this one, they're all separate pieces, so there's a lot of articulation in this one. So, yeah. I think overall for the price of this and the quality, and this is what I was looking for the Tuna. This was the way to go for myself. I used to have a Hexat oyster. It looks more angular. It kind of looks like what you get on a Hosen, I guess. They tend to have those too on their shark divers, at least. It would look good on a Tuna, and I said I had it, but I do find that the Endmill looks better. It looks just this roundedness of it. I think it looks this looks better to me. Anyways, going back to these guys here, these keepers. So yeah, so I have some other This one obviously is all attached. It's quick release. That spring bar isn't going anywhere, and the end link is going to hold too. But I do have some other straps that could probably use it, such as this is the example I'm talking about real quickly. My Zen 103 bracelet, which I am getting new end links for my 104. So you can see in here, these are marked for 103s. So that fits my chronograph. But see how it's done here? It's so that's how at least you can interchange them. That's one reason maybe why they have it like this, because their H-link bracelets are pretty standard fare. Basically, what they just change on a lot of the models is just the end links to fit specific, different dive watches or even aviator pieces or something. So you need to have. I'll just show it to you like this. So then, if you have to have this in here like that, almost dropped it. I think my legs are quick to clamp onto it before it hits the floor. Okay, let's try this again. See, that's why it's kind of fiddly if you don't have it secured already. At least to start off with. So I got to hold the other end. Okay, so this is how it holds in, right? And then if I leave it in the case, I would just slide around and eventually kind of, I don't know, it's not a good example right now, but it will come, before you know it, somehow it just comes loose and it'll fall apart, right? You can kind of imagine how that would happen. So I got these keepers, and you can tell the difference. There's 20 and 22. I don't think they cost that much for a set of these. I think they're about $9 or $10 or so. Check the StrapCode website, or I might try to include a link in the description of this video if you want to quick access to it. So they sell them as a pack of, basically 5 pairs or 10 pieces, but you're not going to really just use one, and they're kind of color coded. So the 20s are a little bit more of like an olive drab, I guess. It's more muted, and this one's kind of more forest green. You can see it's more saturated and darker in that sense. So I'm thinking, even these are not strap codes, but this end link is still 20 mil. So we just put this over it like so. And if it's too tight, I guess I can always use, it should be fine. I can always go to the 22s, and it might be a little bit looser, but I don't think I need to go there. I'd rather have it tight, and because this thing stretches, it's rubber. It won't scratch your stuff, and there you go. It keeps it all in place like that. So since I'm at it, I'll just put this on here. I mean, this is just something you don't have to buy, but I've been thinking about this for a while because I don't like having my straps or these kind of pieces loose. If anything, even if the end links didn't come off, chances are, if it's just bracelet anyways with a end link system that stays attached to the bracelet, maybe the spring bar hole comes on through a different spot, it can still spill out. And I usually try to keep my spring bars together with the bracelet. I don't like to try to hunt down spring bars to fit that I know, certain ones work a certain way, and I know that I want to keep it together, and I don't want to mix it back into my general spring bar collection. There's a lot of them, so then if I do that, I have to dig out a bunch, and then I'll carefully look at the ends and stuff and see which one is seemingly the right one that I should be using, or the best one I should be using to pair up with a particular strap or bracelet. And there we go. And I'm glad I finally bought these. I've been thinking about these for months, but I didn't, just buying these by myself, you'd probably have to pay extra for shipping because they didn't go over a certain amount of dollars. And so I didn't feel like paying that amount for this plus shipping. It doesn't seem quite worth it. But since I knew I was going to go with a bracelet, I was like, I'm going to throw these in, and then the shipping will be free and all that. and then I'll finally get it. And there you go, done. And if anything, these could also work for, like, maybe this is not a good example, but I would say, like, say Seiko rubber straps, for instance, the ones that you get with their dive watches. The just pretend this is it. The rubber strap, usually the spring bar holes usually have like a metal tube running through it, and then usually their jumbo spring bars go right through there, and it's kind of reinforces that hole, I guess. But then it also creates an extra, it's not as tight at the same time, so they can really slip and slide out of there real easily. And so these would probably be pretty good to use on those as well, because with Seiko, especially, if you're you have their dive watches and a dive strap, you're going to want to match it up with their jumbo spring bars, which are particularly fatter, and also the ends can be a little bit fatter too. The actual point of the, I can't show you here, the actual point of the spring bar that compress is sometimes it's a little bit thicker too, because they're drilled lug holes in those dive watches, at least the Prospex ones, and the real serious ones, they usually will be thicker and just more sturdier that way. And you want to keep it together. I have some extra spring bars, but again, it's not something. If I grab a strap in my strap case or wherever they have it, I want to have everything ready to go. It kind of deters me a little bit for if I think I want to put on a strap or bracelet, and then I know that, wait a minute, I gotta figure out the spring bars and then go look for it and make sure that they all fit, and then that's just an extra process that I don't need. So if I can keep it together, then I know what's the hardware that works with this is all together, then I'm good to go, and I'm more inclined to just do the strap exchange. So that's it. I just wanted to share that new bracelet. You'll see it in the Watch Your Strap episode, I'm sure, on my new Tuna, relatively new one, at some point. I just got to get the size. Usually for me, it's 2 and 1. But depending, it could be 2 and 2. But usually it's 2 on one side and 1 on the other. And that will usually give me my perfect fitting. Yeah. So, yeah, I recommend getting some of these if you're kind of anal, or just these kind of things with the spring bars and or end links getting loose in your strap bracelet collection. It's great to have some of these to keep them together. And yeah, they only come in 20 and 22, but I'm sure you can adapt. You can use the 20s for 19s. It wouldn't be, you see it's a pretty good fit, so it wouldn't be that loose or anything. And consequently, 22s will probably work with the 21 millimeter, bracelet, size. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see what else I can put out next. I found the one for my SBEC 015 or 005. Yeah, SBEC 005, the speed timer or anniversary piece chronograph, panda dial thing that I have. You see my videos, you know which one I'm talking about. This is the bracelet for it, and this is the other kind of look. Well, it already fell out, but see, this is all attached. But the spring bars will occasionally slide right out. So that's on. I try to keep my bracelets or strap options for particular watches separate, so then I don't have to, go through have a lot of straps, so I don't have to go through all the stuff that's not relevant, that I'm not going to ever really pair with this particular watch. This goes with this, and there really should be some other rally straps and stuff. It's actually in another box, but I think I just put it in here just for the time being. Anyways, so yeah, so I want to keep this together. I don't like having it loose in here, and then I gotta carefully make sure that I know where the spring bar is and get it out, or so that maybe if I forget, it may somehow fly out or roll out. And do not want to looking for spring bars on the floor, and especially if it's dark or whatnot. It's going to be a pain in the butt, so we don't want that. And also, again, for this for storage and stuff, and the occasional times that you need to move it around. If this stuff all jostles loose, spring bars and or the end links, if that is the case, such as with the Zen, you never know if the spring bar might get underneath the bracelet or whatever, and just having a bunch of loose metal pieces kind of maybe colliding and rolling over or pushing over each other or whatever. Even though this shouldn't damage you, but anyways, it's probably not the best thing. You don't want to add unnecessary scratches, especially when it's not being worn, just by storage or just stuff like that. So another reason why I secure the hardware with the bracelet. So again, this is 20 millimeters, and let's see, get you guys. So this little piece here is just like a there's like a indentation on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. Let me open it up. You can see how this comes out, and also there leaves a space inside there. If you can make that out right there. You see that? So that's for the spring bar ends to fit within, and then that way, once you get in there, this piece that'll just kind of help lock it in, so this can't really slide off that easily without you actually pulling and kind of lifting it off of there. That spring bar end is inset into that part, and then it can't go outside of this space, this rectangle space, right? It'll just, so this keeper will stay on there, and that's basically it. So yeah, see, it can fit lots of different shape, end links. They shouldn't be all that different, but they can be, and because it's rubber, see, I don't like loose metal like this. I mean, when I take it off, obviously there's a chance that's still going to happen, but at least in storage, just lock it down and make sure it's all there and not somehow get lost or displaced or end up scratching other things that it shouldn't be if it does get loose. So there we go, just like that. And yeah, I like that. I'm so happy I got these. I mean, I'm not sure if this covers everything that I have. I hope it should. If I don't, I guess I'll end up buying more later. But for now, for what I can think off the top of my head, these I should have enough for now. But yeah, again, I recommend getting something like this if you want to just keep your strap stuff nice and tidy and all the stuff that I said. All right, thanks for watching.